Madhyoli Charanam, Jainandalala. So today's topic is the best topic. And this is the excitement on my face that you see. And it is Ambal, Akhilandeshwari. Today is her topic. We're going to visit Thiruvanaikaval. I was really looking forward to this session. And yesterday, my excitement grew because today I'm going to be talking about her. And even the thought of her kind of gives you that excitement. So today is about Lord Jambukeshwarar and Akhilandeshwari. Now, always we start from the root, right? How the lingam came to be, how this place came to be. So let's go there. This place is also called Jambukeshwaram. We all know it as Thiruvanaikaval, but this is also called Jambukeshwaram. And why is it called Jambukeshwaram? It's because there was a sage by named Jambu Munivar. And he was a big Shiva Bhakta. And he always did puja and all these. He was always meditating on Lord Shiva. Now he got once a rare and sacred Vennaval fruit. It's a white color fruit. Ven is white. Vennaval fruit. He got it and he offered it to Lord Shiva. Now Lord Shiva took it, ate it, and spat out the seed from the fruit. Now, what did this Munivar do? He didn't want to waste that seed. That seed is from the Lord's mouth. Would anybody, nobody would. Think about it. Anything from the Lord's mouth, nobody will waste it. Yes, I understand. He took it and he ate it. He ate that seed. Now, immediately, a navel tree began to grow out of his head. The saint said. Now, the saint prayed that the Lord should come and reside under this tree that is growing on top of his head. This was his prayer to Lord Shiva. You should come and reside under this tree that is growing on my head. Lord Shiva said, I will. You do your penance, and there will be a day when I will come and reside under your tree. I will come and I will sit under your tree. I will be there. And you do your penance on the banks of the river Kaveri. This was Lord Shiva's instructions to the saint. And the saint followed it. He went along and he did his penance. And he kept going for, penance is not a small thing. We have talked about this during our Sri Rangam session also. And penance is the same. It goes on for years. And after many years, the scene changes. The next scene is in Mount Kailash. Now, what is happening in Mount Kailash? Lord Shiva and Devi Parvati. Now, Lord Shiva is always, if you know him, he's always meditating. He's always in his jnanam, right? And Devi Parvati, there is a time when she gets agitated. She's like, why is he always meditating? He can have some fun here and there. So she makes fun of him. At a point, she's making fun of him. You're always meditating. Now Lord Shiva gets angry. He wants to teach her a lesson. So he just disappears. He disappears from there. Now when he disappears, he's gone somewhere else and he's meditating. Forget finding him out. You can't find him easily. So Lord, Goddess Parvati knew that she had to win over him again. And for that, She can do it only through penance. So she comes down on earth to win over the Lord back again. She comes down to this place on the banks of the river Kaveri, exactly where the Lord said he will reside. Over there where the Vennaval tree is already there, where the Saint Jambu is doing his penance. Devi Parvati comes there as goddess Akhilandeshwari and makes a lingam out of the Kaveri waters. She beautifully sculptured this lingam out of the water. Now, it's not even practical to think of water being, crafted or made into a form, correct? It doesn't stay in place. So how can you make a water unless it's frozen or something? You can sculpt it, right? But this is water. Only the Devi can make a lingam out of water. So she made a lingam out of water under this Vennaval tree, and she started meditating upon him. So this is how it happened. Now, like always already said, Kaveri happened. And then the whole scene, it's all planned, right? Everybody was there in time to greet the Lord. Even the goddess came there to greet the Lord in the end, who was made by her herself. She made him out of water. Now that's why here he's called Apulingam, Apu meaning water. So the lingam is made out of water, and this is one of the Pancha sthalams where he represents, he's there representing the element water. Now Devi is the one who made him first, right? So that's the most powerful thing about this lingam. Now, Lord Shiva is so kind, right? So Devi Parvati's come, made the lingam, and she's doing her penance, and Lord Shiva is impressed. He's happy. So he comes down to give her the darshan, the much awaited darshan. And he's there. Now he gives her the Shiva Jnanam. So he's there not as her husband, he's there as her guru. He gives the Upadesham. So that is why this is one of the Upadesha sthalams. So there is, if you see in this temple, there will not be any Kalyana Utsavam or any festivals like that, because this is one of the Upadesha sthalams where Lord Shiva comes to give Shiva Jnanam to Goddess Parvati. So Lord Shiva is facing west and Goddess Parvati is facing east. Usually when it's the other sthalams of Lord Shiva and Parvati, they're all facing the same side. They're beside each other. Here, they're facing each other. That is why it's the Upadesha sthalam. And the idols are also installed in the same way, where Lord Shiva is facing west and Goddess Akhilandeshwari facing east. Now, that's the relationship between the Lord and the Goddess here, the student and Guru. Now, there is a Uchikala Puja here, where because the Devi has worshipped in this temple, Devi has come and worshipped the Lord in this temple, the priest dresses up like the goddess, a woman, and he performs puja for Jambukeshwarar, the lingam, and then he comes out and he performs Go Puja for the It's a black cow. And every afternoon this happens. It's a beautiful event. You should not miss it if you go to this temple. It's a very popular thing that happens in this temple. Okay, another story. Now we know why it's called Apulingam. We know why it's called Jambukeshwaram, right? Because all the roots that we learned about those stories that related to those names. Now there's another name of this place, Thiruvanaikaval. Why? Why is it called Thiruvanaikaval? Now there were two Shivaganas, Malyavan and Pushpadanta. There were two Shivaganas. Shivaganas, you know who they are, right? The attendants of Lord Shiva in Mount Kailash. So they were always quarreling, always fighting with each other. Now they came to an extent where the fight went so serious that Malyavan, one of the Shivaganas, cursed Pushpadanta to become an elephant on earth. And the latter also did not stop. Pushpadanta also cursed Malyavan that he will be a spider on earth. So both of them were obviously born on earth as the elephant and spider. Now both did a lot of puja at Thiruvanaikaval to Lord Jambukeshwarar on the banks of the river Kaveri. So the elephant collected water from the river and conducted a lot of abhishekams under the same Jambu tree. And they both were doing so much of seva for the lingam. The spider used to build a web over the lingam so that the lingam is, protected from dried leaves falling on it or from the sunlight directly hitting it. So the spider used to nicely build its web, around it. And the elephant used to perform the abhishekam. So what happened there was the elephant, when he came to perform his puja and he saw the web on top of the lingam, he used to brush it off. He used to think, what is this dirt on lingam? And he used to clean it up. Not knowing that the spider has done it, he would brush it off and he would put his abhishekam on the, spray his water. Now the spider got angry because he's really working hard in building his web to protect the Lord from any dried leaves or anything like that falling on him. So he gets upset. And at a point, he gets so angry that he attacks the elephant. He climbs into his trunk and he nicely bites him. Spider bite is not very pleasant. So the elephant is fighting for his life because spiders can be poisonous. So, and in that struggle, even the spider gets squished inside the trunk and both of them die. Now, obviously, when you die, you go to Mount Kailash, which they belong, and they have to face the Lord. Now, the Lord knows both are devotees, both have done seva to him, but then he questions the spider, that is Malyavan. He says, well, I understand both have done so much seva to me, both have been a devotee to me, but what you did was wrong. You killed the elephant. You went and attacked him. You killed him. And for that, you have to go back to earth and finish off that karma. Lord Shiva said, because you killed the elephant, you have to go back. Now the elephant got moksha, but the spider didn't. So the spider had to come back on earth, and that is, he came back on earth as he was born as King Kochangan Chola. He was a Chola king. Now this king was the one who built Thiruvanaikaval. The temple Thiruvanaikaval was built by this king who was the spider in the last birth. Now he has built 70 temples, Lord Shiva temples. Not one, 70 Lord Shiva temples. So But the funny part is, every temple that he has built, Lord Shiva's temple that he has built, he has kept this in mind, his enmity with the elephant. So because of the previous birth, right? His enmity with the elephant. So what he did was, all the sanctum that he built, he made sure that no elephant can enter it. No elephant can enter the sanctum of the Lord. So he made that the entrance of the sanctum only was 4 feet tall and 2.5 feet wide. Even a baby elephant cannot enter it. So this is how he constructed all his 70 temples. Nice, no? Even the previous births, vengeance did not go. So now, why the name Thiruvanaikaval? Because an elephant got moksham here. The elephant, after worshipping the Lord here, got moksham. That is why the name Thiru Anai. Anai is elephant. Ka is forest. So Thiru Anai, holy. Thiru means, always we use the word Thiru in giving that respect to the place or to the person. We've seen Nine Mars, right? Whenever we talk about them, we say Tirujnana Sambandhar, Tirunavakkarasar, correct? So that Tiru is used in giving that pedestal for them. And that's the same way, Tiru Anai Kaval. And that is how this name came to be. Anai is the elephant, is always remembered because it's a big thing in this place. The elephant got moksham after doing all the seva and worship for the Lord. So Thiruvanaikaval. That's where the name came. Now, story behind Kochangan, the king, Chola king. What does Kochangan mean? Kochangan means red eyes. Chengannan means red eyes. Kanna means eyes. Chenganna means red eyes. So this king had red eyes, obviously. So why did he have red eyes? So let's go into that story. So when he was in the womb of his mother, the queen was carrying this child. An astrologer predicted that there is a sacred time to give birth for this, for the well-being of the newborn. So he gave a time that if you're having the baby, have it at this time, kind of thing. Obviously, it's not possible, right? It's the most difficult thing. We don't even know. See, death and birth, even the doctors cannot predict, right? When the baby will come out, nobody knows. When the person will go, nobody knows. So these two things, even the best experts, pros, scientists, cannot predict that. Only the ultimate can. Anyway, the astrologer gave her this time period that she could, have the baby. But obviously, the queen went into labor earlier than that. So the queen told the servants to hang her upside down so that she does not get the labor pain and the child is pushed up, right? She didn't want to have the baby, so she was hung upside down. When she was hung upside down, that was the waiting time inside the womb made the baby's eyes red. Because of the waiting time, the baby's eyes became red. And that's why when he was born, they named him Kochangan. So obviously, as soon as he became king of the land, the next Chola king, he started building Shiva temples. And the first Shiva temple that he built was our very own Thiruvanaikaval. Now, the paintings of Kochangan and Chola is installed at the Swami Temple. You can see it in this temple. And this painting reminds us of this beautiful story of the earlier birth, where he was the spider, even before that, the Malyavan, being the spider, and how he worshipped the Lord in Thiruvanaikaval, and then came back in his next birth to build all these temples and give us this gift. Him coming back as a Chola king is a gift for us, don't you think? Huh? All Lord's Leelas. Because if he didn't, then we wouldn't have these 70 beautiful temples. And one main being Tiruvanaka, right? So it's a beautiful thing. Everything has a reason, I feel. Now, a separate Sannidhi was built for this king in 1980, and in the same temple. It's actually near the Utsava Murti, and that is where his idol is installed. Now, coming to goddess Akhilandeshwari, we got to know how the lingam was there, how the temple, why the name, who built it. Now let's get to the best part, the beautiful part, the goddess. Look at her behind me. She's actually very happy we're talking about her today. Akhilandeshwari means what? Universal, the ruler of the universe, the goddess of the universe. And in some of in Sanskrit, it also means, Akhilanda also means never not broken. It's something to think about. Am I saying she's always broken? Yes, she is broken. But she's reminding us that broken is also beautiful. Broken is also beautiful. And when we are broken, when we are in distress, who do we run to? This is the goddess we run to. And she reminds us that things can survive after it's broken. We can pick up our pieces and go on. And that strength is what she gives. So Akhilandeshwari gives us the jnanam, the knowledge that we have to pick up the pieces and move forward. And that is the biggest part of her name itself, is reminding us that I'm here. I'm here to walk beside you. I'm always here. Hold my hand and we'll go together. So this is her best part as the mother, the universal queen, the ruler, everything. And even in our brokenness, who is not broken? All of us have broken in some way or the other, right? And this is what she reminds us. You can survive. Pick up the pieces and let's go. And that is what this beautiful name reminds us of. And her name is not just the ruler of the world. It means so many things more than that. And what is her Vahanam? If you read more about her, her Vahanam is the crocodile. Have you ever, when you think about Lord Shiva, he has the most scariest reptile on his neck, wrapped around like an ornament. And here is the queen, his queen, riding the most scariest reptile again, the crocodile. These two are, we can't predict them, correct? You can't predict a crocodile. And neither can you predict a snake. They both are so unpredictable. Every other animal, you can just bring them up as babies and they will be fine with you. But these two are so unpredictable. You don't know what they are thinking. And here, these two of the most notorious animals, this Devi and the Lord is having as a toy. It shows you something, right? She's riding this. She's riding the crocodile in the river Kaveri. That is the, I don't know, I have no words. And what does the crocodile represent? The crocodile represents our mind. It represents our fears. And that is what she's good at taming, right? She's taming our mind, she's taming our fears, and that is what the crocodile represents. And if we let our crocodile, that is our mind and fears, in her control, you see how she beautifully maneuvers it? So that is what we need to do. Surrender, give our crocodile mind in her hands, let her manure it, let her take it around and go places. She knows where to take us. Because that is how our mind is, right? Exactly what I said, unpredictable. There's no, today I may be the biggest bhakta of Lord Akhilandeshwari. Tomorrow, I don't know. Tomorrow, I don't know what will happen. So that's the most unpredictable thing about our mind. 1 second we think, let's do this. The other second we'll think, no, let's forget it. So if we give that mind in her control, we don't have to worry. So she controls the mind, so let her control it. Now, if we read about Goddess Akhilandeshwari, right, she's very fascinating. She's very fascinating. She was once a Ugra Devata. She was full of anger, and nobody could enter her Sannidhi. Nobody could even go near the Sannidhi. This was not too long ago. This was during the Adi Shankara time, where even the priests could not enter her Sannidhi. The Veshti or Panchagajam used to get, lit up in fire. So they would run out. They cannot enter the Sannidhi because so much of power and energy in it. The goddess was in so much anger. So all of them, the temple authorities, were sitting and discussing what to do. And then they realized that Adi Shankara, the biggest devotee of the goddess, is in the area. And they went and ran to him for help. They said, this is what is going on. We need your help. And Adi Shankara said, yes, I will be there. And he came to the temple, Thiruvanaikaval, sat outside the Sannidhi of Goddess Akhilandeshwari and sang. She was so pleased. And he asked her why she is so angry. And she took liberty and asked him for, make me Tadangam. So who is Adi Shankara after all? Who is Adi Shankara? Adi Shankara is Lord Shiva himself, isn't it? He is the avataram of Lord Shiva. And yes, she took very much liberty in the right person. She almost made him come there and asked for Tadangam. Tadangam is those beautiful earrings that you see her wearing behind me. That beautiful earrings, the 2 round circles that you see, is called the Tadangam. And that was installed by Adi Shankara himself. And he made sure to engrave the Sri Chakram in it, in her Tadangam. So if you look closely, but here you may not see it clearly, but when you do go and see what a Sri Chakram is, that is what is engraved in the Tadangam and embedded with lot of jewels. The Tadangam is beautiful. Her Tadangam is beautiful. And he engraved the Sri Chakram and requested her to infuse all her powers, all her anger, all her rudram, the raudram into it. And she said, okay. How beautiful. Only the Lord can tame her, right? And she wants to be tamed only by him. Let me put it that way. So he did the Tadangam. He did the Pradishtai of the Tadangam for her. And he also installed a beautiful Vinayagar in front of her. Now we all know she's her pet. Her pet son is Lord Ganesha. So he installed a Prasanna Vinayagar. He's always Prasanna. Prasanna means happy Vinayagar, right? He's always Prasanna, right? I feel he's always Prasanna. So he installed Prasanna Vinayagar in front of Sri Akhilandeshwari. So if she opens her eyes, when the doors are open, the first thing she sees is her son. When you see your son, what do? You smile. You're not angry anymore. So the humans can do all papam sins and they do open the door. She doesn't see that. She sees her beautiful son and she smiles. So she wears her powers as an ornament. So this beautiful Tadangam ornament, she wears her powers as her ornament. So whenever you go to Thiruvanaikaval, that beautiful Alangaram, that Tadangam is everything. It's because she infused all her powers into that. When you see her wearing it, it's so complete. It completes her. I've gone to Thiruvanaikaval, not once, many times. And this goddess, I have no words when you see her after the Alangaram. I mean, you can see her behind me already, but adjectives are not enough. Even the dictionary could not do justice for her beauty. All the words, enticing, captivating, enchanting, fascinating, magnetic, striking, irresistible, spectacular, breathtaking, astounding, stupendous, luxurious, dazzling, glittering, alluring, exquisite. I can go on. She's all that and even more. The words are not enough. I'll go on and on, but the words are still not enough to describe this beautiful goddess. Yes. Now, moving on, the Tadangam Pradishte that I was talking about, done by Adi Shankara, is still done even today, once in few years by the same Kanchi Mutt. The Kanchi Kamakoti Mutt does it, the Peetam does it even today. Now, there is one more story related to this temple, and that is about Kavi Kalamegam. A few centuries ago, he was a Vaishnavite, and he fell in love with a Shaivite dancer in Sri Rangam. Now we know this Thiruvanaikaval is in Trichy. Srirangam is right opposite this temple. They're like very close by, you know, not much distance between the two temples. So if you go to Srirangam, on the opposite side is Thiruvanaikaval. So this Vaishnavite was in love with the Shaivite dancer. Now the Shaivite dancer would visit Thiruvanaikaval. The Vaishnavite boy would visit Srirangam, and they will meet up in the midway. One time, when the marriage topic came by, the dancer said, "Well, you always put Lord Shiva down. I can't marry a person who does not pray or respect my Lord," she said, the Shaivite dancer. So the Vaishnavite says, "Okay, I will also respect Lord Shiva. I will come to Thiruvanaikaval tomorrow." So he comes. So it so happens that the weather gets really bad and they were stuck. He was stuck in the temple that day. And the girl did not come to meet him that day. So he was left in this Thiruvanaikaval alone, waiting for this girl one day. So he fell asleep. That's when he heard anklets sound at night. And he woke up. When you're in deep sleep and then you wake up, your eyes are like this, and then he suddenly saw this beautiful image of the goddess. And who was that? Goddess Akhilandeshwari. She sprinkled water on him. She sprinkled water and she says, "Wake up." That was a wake-up call, I would say. Because that wake-up call, there's another part of the story where it says that when he was sleeping, he had his mouth open, right? Some of us have our mouth open without, when you're sleeping deep sleep, right? So she had this pan, she chews on pan, right? She spit it onto his mouth. That's another part of the story. And why did she do that? After that, he became a great poet. He woke up and he started singing like he had taken lessons for ages in poetry. That is when he came to be known as Kavi Kalamegam. Now, why Kalamegam? Because when he started singing, he brought rains. When the sky was so happy, it brought rains. So always when rains come down, it's happiness. People think it's very gloomy, very dull. But when the rains come down, it's a happy rain, not like a flood rain, but so when the rains come down, especially after puja and all that, right? When the rains happen, we say the Lord is happy. That is how it's stated. So Kavi Kalamegam, when he sang his poetry, it rained. So that's why his name Kalamegam. Kalamegam is clouds, black clouds, and it brings rains. So that is a beautiful story which happened in this temple. So since then he has sung many, many songs on Akhilandeshwari. And he also sung the song Saraswati Malai on Akhilandeshwari, clearly stating that she is Goddess Saraswati too, because she's the one who gave him that kalai, the art, right, to sing poetry. And we know that anything to do with knowledge, art, is Goddess Saraswati. So he sang the Saraswati Malai for Goddess Akhilandeshwari. So yeah, Goddess Akhilandeshwari is considered Goddess Saraswati, Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Durga. So she is all in one. And that is probably why we see Akhilandeshwari, the ruler of the world. She's all in one. So she's got everyone in her. So all makes sense, right? Now there is a Vibhuti Prakaram. This temple has many prakarams, and the total of 5 prakarams, and the 5th prakaram is the Vibhuti Prakaram. And I'd like to tell you something about this. It's the largest and outermost prakaram. And why is it called Vibhuti Prakaram? Now the king Tirunitra Sundara Pandian, he was the one who was in charge of building this prakaram. Due to less funds, he could not pay the laborers. So he went to the Lord and he pleaded, I don't have enough funds to continue with this. What do I do? So the Lord came in his dream and said, don't stop the work. Continue with the work. I will take care of it. I will help you. So, and he also said, I will also be a part of this construction. But obviously the king didn't know what the Lord meant. But this prakaram was built without any effort. It's all granite stones, right? I mean, think about it. I'll tell you, it's 25 feet high, stretches over a mile. I mean, think about it. Stretches over a mile, 25 feet high, and it's 2 feet thick. Can you imagine that? And this could not have happened without the Lord's blessing, because he also said he'll also be involved in it. Now, when it came to the time of paying the laborers, the king told the laborers, I don't have enough funds, but for now, I'm going to give you vibhuti. So all the laborers were given vibhuti in a betel leaf. They all took vibhuti home in a betel leaf. And once they went home and they unwrapped the leaf, they found gold coins. And this is a true story. I'm not making it up. They found gold coins. Now you understand why the Lord came and said, don't stop the work. I got this. And he was personally involved. He paid all the laborers. The king was so astounded when he found out that the laborers were paid in gold coins. He had tears in his eyes. See how our temples are not made just like that. I always said this. It's all with his blessings. He's always there. And that is why these beautiful, big structures are built effortlessly. Now there's a recent news that I saw last year, 5th of March. I remember in the Indian Express, it came that a pot of coins has been uncovered, dated back over a millennium to the era of the Chola dynasty in the Jambukeshwarar temple. So that was something. Laborers were cleaning up this vacant plot to make a beautiful garden near the Akhilandeshwari sanctum for the goddess. They were trying to build this garden there. And when they were digging up this place, they went 7 feet down and they spotted this a metallic pot. It was sealed and it had 505 gold coins in it. It's like that kind of gold you won't even find this time nowadays. So the coins had Arabic script inscribed in it, like dated back to 1000 to 1200 AD. Now the Jambukeshwarar temple is a very, very, very old temple, dating back to 2,500 years ago. Now, the Chola dynasty is so powerful. It had conquered Sri Lanka, Maldives, all that section was a Chola kingdom at one point. Now, they were great traders also. They used to trade with other um, countries. Now, the coins were from their trade dealings at one time. And that is why with the Arab merchants, that's why we found the Arabic inscriptions in it, script in it. Now, the coins may have been donated by the kings, which they got from the Arab merchants. They donated it to this temple at one point. And when the temple was obviously ransacked by the Mughals in the 13th and 14th century, we went through this last time when we did the Sri Rangam session. A lot of devotees, priests, be it devotees, priests, everyone who wants to help the temple, they buried a lot of treasures underneath, right, in the temple premises. So this was one of those incidents where I'm sure someone has buried the temple treasure to protect it at that time. And obviously it had to come out last year. They found it, 2020 March. And it's amazing. Now, the original temple I told you was built by Chola king Kochangan, and it then later on developed by various other kings and dynasties, such as Cholas, Pandyas, Hoysalas, Vijayanagara, kings Madurai Nayakars, and it's one of the largest South Indian temples. And it has a mandapam with 1,000 pillars also. And this is one of the 8 temples in Tamil Nadu with the 1,000 pillared mandapam. Now, I want to speak about my trip to India. With that coming to an end with Akhilandeshwari, I really enjoyed this talking about her. But I want to talk about my trip to India this time. It was something very, very special. And one incident I want to talk about is when I went to Shenbakam Vinayagar temple. I know we talked about this Shenbakam Vinayagar temple when I spoke about Lord Ganesha, and that he has to be taught first before starting anything. And this was the incident where Kanchi Periyava forgot to break the 108 coconuts at Shenbakam Vinayagar temple, and he forgot, and he was going his other way, and when the elephant started circling in that spot, you remember that was the story when I spoke about Ganesha. And then of course they all remembered and then went and visited Shenbakam Vinayagar temple. And this temple is very old with 11 Vinayagars that were all Swayambhu idols, that is self-manifested idols of Lord Vinayagar. I went to this temple, and on my way, this village is called Shenbakam. And the board, I see this beautiful board saying Shenbakam, and I know we are entering the village, and I wanted to visualize this beautiful Vinayagar who I'm going to see for the first time. And I closed my eyes, anticipation in seeing Lord Vinayagar. But what do I see? I see beautiful eyes. I see beautiful eyebrows. And I see a bindi, nice, beautiful pottu, bindi, in between the eyebrows. And I see these beautiful eyes. Just this part I see very clearly. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And I open my eyes immediately. But I love the vision that I close my eyes again. And there she is again, beautiful eyes and bindi in between the eyebrows. Eyebrows are beautifully arched, and the eyes are beautiful like a fish. And I'm I keep my eyes closed and I'm enjoying this vision. I know it's unreal, but I'm like at awe at this beautiful sight. And I make fun, I say, and I'm going to see Vinayaga and Amma, obviously I know it's Amma. You have to come here also. Yeah, the point is, why am I seeing Amma when I have to see Vinayaga, right? But she has to come everywhere. And she showed me her beautiful, this spot. And the driver stopped, and I'm having my eyes closed the whole time. Obviously, I don't want to miss that beautiful sight. And he's reached the spot, and he said, Amma, madam, we are here. I open my eyes, and I'm so happy, having this smile on my face. And I say, we need to buy coconuts, and we buy coconuts, and I run inside the temple. I tell him, get the coconuts, and I run. When I go there, I see all these Pillayars, the Ganeshas, just like it was explained in the story. And after all that darshan of Pillayars, I go around to the back. And who do I see? I see the beautiful goddess. That was a pleasant surprise. Even the shocking thing about this is the eyes, the eyebrows, and the puttu, the bindi I saw is the exact thing on her. And I look up to see who the goddess is. It was written in Tamil. I can read Tamil. So I asked the priest, in the Amman yaru, who is this goddess? And he says, oh, that is Meenakshi. That is Meenakshi Amman. I have tears in my eyes because she showed me her vision even before I went there. The same eyes, the same eyebrows, same bindi. I saw before even I reached that place. And that is why she was welcoming me. I have no words. I had tears. I was looking at her beautiful eyes, of course, Meenakshi. What does that mean? Fish-like eyes. Beautiful fish-like eyes. And that is what she showed me. That beautiful eyes she showed me. And I understood it only after I reached that place, because I didn't know Shenbakam Vinayakar temple had the goddess in there. I didn't know there was a goddess Sannidhi at all. And well, she showed me her presence even before I went and saw her. And that is, I wanted to share that beautiful incident with all of you. I hope you enjoyed this. Jai Nandalala Madhyoli Charanam.